Hi guys, and welcome to another video, and in this lesson we're going to be looking at the properties of group 7 elements. Now the group 7 elements are known as the halogens, and you can see we have fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine in group 7. They will all have 7 electrons in their outer shell. Now we need to look at a few properties, and the first one that we want to look at is their melting and boiling points. Now as we go down group 7, the melting and boiling points of the elements increases, gets higher as we go down the group. Typically at room temperature, which is about 25 degrees, fluorine and chlorine would be gases. Bromine would be liquid, and iodine and astatine would be solid. Now as we go down group 7, the colour of the halogens gets darker. For example, fluorine is a pale yellow colour. Chlorine is a yellowish green. Bromine is a reddish brown. And iodine is a shiny purple. And by prediction, astatine would be black, which it is. So as we go down the group 7 halogens, the colour gets darker. Now, the halogens are known as diatomic gases or diatomic elements. And this is because each halogen forms a covalent bond with itself. For example, you get fluorine, which is F2, 2 fluorine atoms joined together. You also get chlorine, which is Cl2. And you get bromine, which is Br2, and etc. This is what we mean by the term diatomic, because there are 2 atoms joined together. Now care has to be taken when handling the group 7 elements, because fluorine is the most reactive halogen, as it's at the top of the group, and it gets less reactive as we go down. Care should also be taken when handling chlorine and bromine. And iodine we shouldn't even really touch in a lab unless we've got gloves and some goggles on. But let's look at some other reactions to do with the group 7 halogens, because they all react with metals, and when the group 7 halogens react with metals, they form salts. And you may hear of these being called the halide salts. They react pretty well with the group 1 elements, because the group 1 elements need to lose 1 electron in their outer shell, and the group 7 elements need to gain 1 electron in their outer shell. So for example, sodium would react very well with chlorine, and it would form sodium chloride. Now notice how the name changes when it forms a salt. It's turned from a halogen, chlorine, into a halide, which is chloride. We would see this type of reaction happen with all of the group 7 halogens. The reaction with metals would get less vigorous as we go down the group. So in other words, fluorine reacting with sodium would be an explosive reaction. whereas sodium and iodine, the reaction may need some heat and it would be a very slow reaction. Now, we can use these group 7 halogens in different areas. One of the uses for these group 7 halogens is that they are good bleaching agents. They're able to take the dye out of different materials. And one common example is that we use chlorine on wood pulp. Chlorine dyes wood pulp into the white paper that we use to write on. And all of the halogens also destroy bacteria. This is why we use iodine in disinfectants and we use chlorine to sterilize swimming pools. Okay guys, thanks for tuning in. Stay in touch for another video.